Can I see you a minute, please? Please.
Welcome to the Thursday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Thursday. Welcome, everybody. Mighty Mouse, Mouselander, how's it going? Derry Bennett, Heat, Quad Bennett, Michael Hasser, welcome. CNN debate with Nikki Haley and Ron last night. Was it just them? Was it just them? Because I'm sorry, I didn't see. Okay. I didn't see it all. No new information to be gleaned there. Because from what yeah, it's a pointless exercise. What is it? An exercise of futility. It was just them, because like the last thing that I remember reading, is that Chris Christie officially dropped. Chris Christie officially suspended his campaign, or he dropped out. That's like the last thing that I heard. I've been sort of like in and out of the news, because yesterday I felt pretty miserable. I don't know. I think it's something about the place where I was at that like really must have fired up my allergies. Because it was just nonstop. I mean, it's still bothering me a little bit. It still bothers me a little bit, but I think we'll make it through. That's right. Chris Christie is supposedly he's done. Glad you're back. Me too. CNN didn't top Fox in the ratings. Oh man, because Trump decided to do decided to do his own town hall, which I also didn't see, to be honest. I mean, it probably doesn't take much to guess what he was talking about. I'm gonna say the election, the stolen election, and the multiple witch hunts that are being sent after him. How badly he wants to be a dictator, just normal stuff. Yeah, I bet. Just normal things. All right, folks. We gotta get this started. Also, again, just to remind folks, just a reminder, we are having a movie event at the end of the month. So feel free to join the Discord and participate. He segued. I'm not gonna be a Richard Potato. Potatoes are amazing. That's un-American. Yes, and also like the YouTube stream, subscribe, and check out the merch store, ! merch. Also, I was like reading on the Discord about the whole like Twitch thing. Like, listen, if Twitch decides to tip over, okay, if Twitch goes belly up, just go to the YouTubes, okay? Makes it easier. And also, I think I'm pretty much like set, or at least I pretty much have an idea of how I would go about continuing without Twitch, or without Twitch and like limited YouTube. I mean, I could just stream from my own website. So if that is necessary, I think I know at least a way of doing it. So there's that. At least in some way, shape, or form, there will still be a show. Okay? That didn't happen, right? Or that's not gonna end, I should say. Happily ever after? Yes. There will be a happily ever after in the event that Twitch goes down. Yeah, without Twitch it'll be okay. Without Twitch it'll be fine. There will always be a show in some way, shape, or form. Now, here's the only thing that I don't know. If I am forced to stream on my own on my own website, the only thing I don't know is if whether or not we'll have like a chat. That I don't know, but I know YouTube has a chat, so there you go. That'll be the first alternative. All right, folks, let's get it started.
I'm being indicted for you. My first thought went to, well, Jesus Christ died for my sins.
God help us all. And by God, of course, I mean Donald Trump, the savior. So I'm going to play for you this interview.
Not a cult, by the way. The Republican Party, not a cult.
Interview that NBC News did with a couple of Trump voters in Iowa that single-handedly broke my brain. And then I'm going to get to some analysis, whatever analysis is possible here.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, I was gonna ask, like, there's nothing to do analysis over, like, in this case, right? Like, what analysis are we doing here? These people just live in an alternate reality. They live in a completely fictional world, and that's all there is to it. There's nothing to analyze at this point in time, you know.
From Trump and Biden, and some approval numbers from Trump and Biden, and I'll get to just how Jesus-like Donald Trump really is with a...
True. Donald Trump, you know, when I think of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, you know, I think Donald Trump, okay? That's what really comes to mind. You know, the Jesus that, like, whipped rich people, whipped bankers. Yeah, that truly reminds me of Donald Trump. You know, the idea that we should help people who need it the most, like healing the sick and feeding the poor. Yeah, that's something that truly reminds me of Donald Trump. Nothing embodies Donald Trump like charity.
Recent.
When I see Trump, I go, "Oh Lord." Maybe that's what they're saying. Trump brings people closer to God because they're always like saying, "Oh Lord." You know what? You might be right, Heat. I'll take it. I'll go down that road. I'll go down that road. Why did Trump storm out of court? I don't know. He's big mad, I guess. Big mad. Big mad. A woman. That's right. Thank you, Michael Hassler.
Defense that he made. But first, let's play it. I'm going to play this. This is absolutely insane.
Alia with the 14 betties. Thank you.
I had to watch this. Now you have to watch this.
I want to play a little bit of an interview that NBC had with a Trump supporter named Bethany at a caucus event in Iowa. Let's talk about it on the other side.
I'm being indicted for you. My first thought went to, well, Jesus Christ died for my sins. Jesus died for me. And so it connects in my brain that way, like, okay, he's doing this for us as a country to make the changes we need to make. And he...
True, dude. Trump, just like Jesus Christ, okay? Him being indicted, just like Jesus Christ, okay?
He's the target where we don't have to be.
Holy, holy, holy Trump, God of power, God of might, heaven and earth are filled with your glory.
You know what? I think David. I think David could have a good spot as a bass. He should have a good spot on the choir as a bass. Jesus. There's a video, God made Trump, God kills religion. Jesus was on trial for things he did, just like Donald. Damn. Yeah, that's exactly the similarities here.
How was that?
Not
I
bad.
went to church enough growing up to
Yeah, not bad. All right, I'll give him an 8 out of 10. Okay, he could be a bass. He could be a bass.
to hear that one quite a few times. Donald Trump, Jesus Christ. What's the difference?
Yeah, same thing.
They both sacrificed themselves for our sins. The sin of trying to steal an election.
The sin of insurrection. True.
I don't like to blame voters because it's not necessarily the fault of people who are stupid. It is just, it's the world they're in.
Okay, but like the difference is it's now 2024. Okay, like at this point, if you didn't have the wherewithal to take like 5 seconds to look into the things that Trump is saying, I mean, it's kind of on you at this point. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing where you can kind of like you can kind of maybe, like in a really twisted way, if you really start like squinting your eyes, put yourself into these people's shoes, like in 2016. I get it. A lot of people were disillusioned, and still are, by the way, because nothing has fundamentally changed. So the point being is that in 2016, yeah, okay, you know, people were upset, and Hillary was a really bad, Hillary Clinton was a really bad candidate, and well, people just went the wild card route. But now in 2024, to actively defend this, and it's just to live in a completely alternate reality. And at this point, it's your fault. Okay, it's your fault. You've had years now at this point, to be able to be open-minded and look into what you know, Trump and the rest of the Republicans are saying. These are choices that you're actively deciding to make to either delude yourself further, or excuse Trump.
These two people seem nice. I'm sure they have busy lives. But at what point do you realize that you're fucking crazy? I'm going to get to whatever analysis that NBC attempted to do after playing that clip from Tim Alberta, who has a book about these people. He was also apparently an evangelical, so he has some insight into your being...
Cult? Yeah, it's a cult. Who's Trump's Judas? I don't know. He thinks everybody's their Judas.
Brainwashed, I guess. But I just don't... I just don't understand how anybody can be so stupid. I don't get it. I don't get it. I get not caring about politics. I get not wanting to follow it. I get being I get all of that. I do not get thinking that Donald Trump is sacrificing himself.
Yeah, so also follow up to that kind of statement is because like none of this was rationalized into by like logic. So like you can't really extrapolate like how that works. You can't logic your way out of something that was never logicked into to begin with. Bipedal meatbag, yeah, Mike Pence is Judas. That's right. That's a good point. So because Trump does not have Pence, now Trump is close with Jesus, or basically... No, Trump is Jesus because, you know, like Jesus, he's now sacrificing himself for us, question mark. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense, okay? These people live in a cult. They're living in a completely diluted reality That's it. So yeah, apparently Trump sacrificing himself is just like Jesus, you know? Can we nail him to a cross though? Not like that though. Not like that type of Jesus, okay? He's GOP Jesus, okay? He was indicted for our sins. He's GOP Jesus. So yeah, you're David. You're not gonna get that thinking, okay? Because there's no rational thought process that led us down this direction. The death of education, the death of critical thinking, it leads down this road. Yep. I mean, like, why do you think these people are so adamant about attacking like public education, right? Like, these people make it a political point to attack education, and there's a reason for that. Wonder where he's going with this video. I have no idea, but like judging by the fact that like he's like, okay, I'm not gonna have too much analysis on this. I think he's gonna go he's gonna use that to make another point, okay? Because like it's to grab your attention with the conservative being completely delusional, and now we're gonna talk about a deeper point. Maybe a deeper point about the election.
For you, in any way. Here are some recent primary polling numbers for Donald Trump.
See? All right.
Well ahead of the pack, 61.3%.
Yeah. See? Just like Jesus.
It does. Let's be clear as well. Everyone here sucks. Like, it's not like, oh, too bad Ron DeSantis isn't doing better. Too bad Nikki Haley isn't doing better. They all have the same platform as Donald Trump does. And potentially, if they were to become president, they potentially may be more successful in implementing a conservative plan because there would be less scrutiny on people who appear to the average person as more sane, even though they're not, but can appear as more sane than Donald Trump. The difference with Trump, I think, is just that he is very clearly never going to have another election if he wins. He is very clearly going to steal democracy for himself. I think that is very clear. And the cultural impact that he has as well is clear. The shift from prior to 2016 to after Trump won in 2016 and beyond, the very clear cultural shift it was made. You know, even putting aside all the policies, it is now normal to see, you know, swastikas at rallies, in front of Disneyland. That was one example as well. Like, it's a very normal thing now to discuss, well, what kind of Nazi is this person? Because that was the major shift that was made.
Yeah. So another way of putting it is like, yeah, he basically gave like whether or not Trump is or isn't or whatever, it doesn't matter. At least the Nazis felt very tied to him, or felt something that he represented, and they felt like this was a vehicle to become mainstream politics. I mean, it got as far as Nick Fuentes having dinner with Trump. Okay? And like you're supposed to be the former president of the United States. So like the idea that like Trump and his campaign team or whatever, or his PR team, usually gives the same BS excuse of like, oh, sorry, you know, we just didn't know who he was. Bro, are you serious? You don't vet who these people are? And it's not like Nick Fuentes hasn't shown up in a lot of major Republican events and is a pretty big figure in terms of like appearing in conservative politics. Like, that dude is everywhere when it comes to Republican events. He has made himself part of Republican candidate elections in terms of like helping candidates out. He's introduced Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, he's had dinner with the former president. So yeah, pretty normal stuff.
Stuff that not saying that wasn't already, behind the scenes taking place, but it is now these people are now out in the open, and the impact it's had on society in a variety of ways, it has been clear, and the rise in hate crimes has been clear. So the cultural impact, I think, for me, would be the biggest difference from with Trump compared to these other clowns on the list here. It's just, I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. We're in January, but the election's this year. So this is something that should begin to be on people's minds. Joe Biden, not doing very well here. His disapproval rating is increasing, in fact. So he's now sitting at a 56.1% disapproval with 38.8% approving, a spread of 17.3. Compare that to Donald Trump, a spread of just 8.9.
Yeah. Phenomenal stuff, folks. Also, see, he's going into a deeper political analysis. So, yeah, I'm about it. All right. Carry on, Mr. Dole.
With his disapproval being at 51%.
It's Jover.
And his approval or favorable being at 43.1. Not looking good. Winning re-election with this alone, forgetting who he's going up against, it would be unprecedented for Biden to win re-election with these numbers. And this, I think, especially recently, goes a lot to how he's handling Israel. There are people within his administration resigning over how far right Joe Biden has been on the issue of Israel and the clear human rights abuse that are taking place. So, and that is animating a lot of the anger towards Joe Biden, especially from the younger voting bloc, which is very engaged, or I should say a lot more engaged on that topic and human rights generally. So the way he won in 2020 was by getting out a lot of young people, a lot of people who don't normally vote, which is one and the same in many cases there. You're not going to have those people come out for you if you continue down this path of continuing these far right policies. So yes, there are of course benefits to Biden has done, or at least his administration has done great things when it comes to labor rights, unions has been fantastic, at least historically compared to other Democratic presidencies. But you can't ignore what we are clearly seeing right now. And most of this falls on Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. It is on them to get out people who don't normally vote to vote for them. Because I'll tell you what, you're not winning this person over. She's not going to vote for you, obviously.
Yeah, so 100%, right? You have to be the one to get people to vote for you, right? It doesn't work if you somehow feel like people already should vote for you just because. That's not how this works, okay? That's not how this works at all. You need to get out there and get people to vote for you. Okay, the best results are when you give people something to vote for, right? If you don't do that, people are not going to be as animated to come out and vote for you. And it is your responsibility. It is your responsibility as the person who's running and who has the campaign, who has a team doing this, to try to cater to those people, right? It's not the responsibility of the voter. It's not the responsibility of the voter to just vote for you. Okay? That's not how this works. The same thing that Hillary did, and look how that turned out. Yeah, it turned out really well, huh? Turned out fantastic.
If Donald Trump is Jesus, so why are you trying to chase far-right loons who are not going to vote for you? You have to chase people who would vote for you if you gave them a reason to, and not just be, hey, look at Trump, which, look, I can argue all day that voting is a tool. Voting is, in most cases, especially in a general election, it's going to be about voting for who is less worst. Or less worst? Less worse.
Yeah.
So that's how it is in many cases. But me arguing that is not going to solve the problem here. It's on the Democratic Party to solve the problem and Joe Biden to solve the problem. I want to get to the attempted analysis here from this is Tim Alberta discussing why he thinks this lady's lost her mind.
I think that what you see and what you hear there from
Why are we even trying to analyze this?
Bethany has as much to do with what isn't happening inside of her church, inside of her religious community, as what is happening with Donald Trump. And what I mean by that is that in the absence of serious Bible-based discipleship, a serious Christian catechesis in which followers of Jesus are trained and are taught and are formed to follow him in the right way and to order their spiritual identity ahead of their political or cultural.
My man, my brother in Christ, okay? These people don't care, okay? The being Christ-like and all this, that's secondary, okay? That's secondary to these people. What is the right way? I don't even know, but if I had to take a guess, because it's all subjective, if I had to take a guess, it's like follow the teachings of Jesus. But you know what I mean? I don't know. It's pointless in my opinion. Because like these people aren't interested in religion because of the religion, right? They're not interested in being Christ-like, whatever that means, according to the Bible or whatever. They're not interested even in Christianity, to be quite frank. All that is to them is a veneer, a shield, a cover. That's it. That's all that is to these people. We'll see. Many people say social media sucks and I'll never be on TikTok, and Twitch is 4 years in the past. Is 4 years in the past? The independents matter if they don't vote for Trump, right? And the well, of course, you know, every group should matter, right? Every group that you think could possibly go out and vote for you matters, but it's up to you. It's the responsibility of the Democratic Party, you as the candidate, you as the party that's running this election. It's dependent on you to get those people that are so crucial to come out for you, okay? You got to give them a reason. If you don't, then those people, the independents or whatnot, they're going to stay home, okay? Apathy is a huge problem in this country. It's by design. If you want people to come out to vote for you, you got to give them something to vote for.
Or tribal identities. In the absence of that happening, Ellie, what you see is that sort of conflating of a religious identity with a political identity, and you begin to assign a sort of messianic salvation capability to someone like Donald Trump, or just to anybody in the political arena for that matter. And I think that we can look at Trump all we want as a driver of this, and he certainly looms large in the evangelical imagination at this point. But I think that we have to get back to basics. We as Christians have to get back to basics and try to examine what is being taught, or I think more often what is not being taught inside of our churches, to avoid this sort of idolatry.
So I think he makes some points there. The fact that religion, at least from his perspective, is, or this person's church, I guess, likely is not pushing a message of love and kindness and acceptance, and instead has been a little more politicized, and in absence of any real message to these churchgoers, they have replaced that with Trump-loving disciples, I suppose. But here's my thing on this. It doesn't matter. These people are lost. The ones that would need to change them are the ones that are doing the brainwashing. So the brainwashers, the Trump disciples that are doing the brainwashing at these churches or in these groups, they're not changing their ways. So we can analyze and be like, oh, this person's this way because who they're listening to, the community they hold.
Yeah, obviously. Ways to mislead the masses for $400, Alex. Yeah, the type that thinks that he is Jesus. Welcome, Firefly. No, I care, but the electoral college vote matters in electing presidents. Yes, but the electoral college vote is driven by the popular vote, right? Like it isn't just in a vacuum that it isn't in a vacuum where only where the electoral college just exists. Like the popular vote pushes where the electoral college goes. Does that make sense? Even though it's really undemocratic, and it needs to go, it's not the only thing that matters.
Led by some crazy people. That's great. You're not changing the crazy people.
Are we sure? Most of the time, that's how that works. Like, because then, if that's the case, then why anybody vote? Then why do we vote? Should we just stay home? That doesn't make any sense, does it?
People who are leading them. So ultimately, the focus has to be on these people. At least, look, their families can deal with them, but in terms of a politics and in terms of voting, they're gone. Forget about them. You have to focus on who you can win over and the people that you should be appealing to. And it's the work of, psychiatrists and the families of these individuals to deal with their insanity. But this is, let's get to how Jesus-like Trump is.
Do you agree that the previous ad is relevant to you? Nah.
Here he is.
I'm not saying don't vote. At the same time, I'm not exaggerating. Well, I mean, if all you say that, if you're just saying that I care, but the electoral college votes matter, well, then you're saying that basically, like, the popular vote, you're basically saying that we shouldn't vote, at least some of us. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense.
Discussing that you have immunity as president. And I'll get to the extension of this that his lawyers argued in court. But quick clip here.
Also, like, regardless of, like, the electoral college or not, it is up to the Democratic Party to reach out and get as many people out to vote for them as possible in every state. In every state, regardless, right?
Very sad thing that's happened with this whole situation. When they talk about threat to democracy, that's your real threat to democracy. And I feel that as a president, you have to have immunity. Very simple. And if you don't, as an example, if this case were lost on immunity, and I did nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong, I'm working for the country. And I worked on very hard on voter fraud because we have to have free elections. We have to have strong borders. We have to have free elections. Those two
I did nothing wrong and they indicted me.
things almost above all.
I love how his attempt to steal the election, the way he spins that is, he was working very hard on voter fraud. You tried to steal the election. That was you working or addressing voter fraud? Look, we don't have to try and debunk Trump. At this point, if you made it this far into the video, you, I'm sure, understand this guy is an insane authoritarian. But here are his lawyers in court. Trump lawyer argues presidents can't order.
He was. Even if you don't want to vote for president, you should still vote for local and state officers. True. Also, the Trump nonsense of immunity forever, really, reality TV and silly. Yeah, it's not how that works. Yeah, he was, exactly. He was just the one committing it. Correct. I was working very hard in the fraud department by, committing the fraud. But I was working hard, I promise.
SEAL Team 6 to assassinate rivals.
Could a president order SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival? That's an official act in order to SEAL Team 6?
He would have to be and would speedily be, impeached and convicted before the criminal prosecution.
What if he weren't? There would be no criminal prosecution, no criminal liability for that?
Chief Justice's opinion in Marbury against Madison and our constitutional tradition and the plain language of the impeachment judgment clause all clearly presuppose that what the founders were concerned about was not.
I asked you a yes or no question. Could a president who ordered SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival who was not impeached, would he be subject to criminal?
I mean, like that's like basically hiring a hitman, and you'd go to jail. You'd go to jail for that. So, in a fair world, of course, you can't just order a special forces team to assassinate a political rival. Okay. It's bad enough it's bad enough that like a lot of times these presidents commit war crimes is bad enough. Requiring a 2/3 majority of the Senate to agree in order to be criminally charged is wild. Yep.
Prosecution.
If he were impeached and convicted first. And so
your answer is no.
My answer is qualified yes.
This is amazing. This is amazing. He is saying, he's essentially saying, you know what? Biden could go ahead and assassinate his political rivals too. He could get Trump, order that hit, and he should not face any repercussions unless he's convicted and impeached.
Right, which
if you're impeached and
which, as the Simon Locker just pointed out, to convict, it's 2/3 of the Senate to follow through with that impeachment conviction. Trump calling GA asking for 11,870 out of millions. Yeah, that amount was just enough to push him over the edge to win.
Convicted, then at that point, okay, then we can go forward with charges. But if you're president, then no, you can do whatever the hell you want and get away with it.
I mean, Trump himself has already said this, right? Like, Trump himself has already, I forget how long ago this was, because like, these last like 5 years have all kind of just blended together. These like past 5 or 6 years have just all just melded together. But I forgot when he said it, but he'd said, and I'm not exactly quoting, but it's pretty close to the exact quote. Yes, exactly, Bipedal Meatbag. That's exactly where I was going with it. Article 2 says I can do whatever I want. Or, I think that's the exact quote, but it's as close to the quote as possible. Yeah, basically, he thinks, he literally already thinks this. 12,000 votes does not beat the 74 million. No. The 12,000 votes would allow the overturning of the popular vote. The 12,000 votes were to push a win in Georgia to flip over those electoral votes. Does that make sense?
Now, some in the audience are likely arguing presidents already do that in a variety of other ways, like bombing countries that didn't do anything. And you would be correct. You would be correct. So maybe they should be using that argument. Hey, look at what Bush got away with the Iraq War.
But Trump lost. Yes, he did. I still needed 2 other states to flip too. Oh, he was working on several states, right? That's where all of these indictments are coming from. It wasn't just Georgia. He was working on several states. And any combination of those would have been sufficient.
Why is Trump facing any repercussions for what he did when George Bush clearly broke the law?
If the left TM were organized enough, war criminals and corrupt people like Trump would get in Minecraft. 16 fake electors are doing time in Michigan. Yep, exactly. Exactly. So it wasn't just Georgia. It was like several of them. I think about like a few states. People charged in January 6th and false selector plan. The most recent audio was in Michigan, yeah? I believe so. I believe that's what Bipedal Meatbag was saying. First class tickets to the front of the line for the contraption that fixes authoritarianism. Yeah. Or something like that. Also, I have heat in my apartment now. No, it's not thanks to heat, though. That would be nice, too. Well, good. I'm glad Conscious Canuck. There's going to be quite the cold storm coming through. And there's going to be like a back-to-back snow, not snow. Well, yeah, I guess for some people it might be snow. But yeah, the fake electors were a different illegal thing that pressuring the Secretary of State to find votes. Yes, that's a completely different. Yes, there are several schemes going on. There were several schemes going on. There was fake elector cases. He was just throwing challenges to the courts. He was trying to pressure different officials, including, the one that he's being indicted for. Yeah, there were several different, and he wasn't the only official that was being pressured. I forget, it came out pretty recently, but somebody else was approached as well to try to finagle some stuff in the election.
My response to that would be, okay, then you should also go after George Bush. But that's a whole other conversation. But being open about what he thinks Trump should be allowed to do, there's... I don't know what to say to this. I mean, Jesus Christ, I guess. Trump, Jesus Christ, they would do the same thing. They would assassinate their political rivals. And I'm not going to play this, but this is the quote.
Just like Jesus would. The worst cold I'm getting is 7 degrees Fahrenheit after the weekend. Jeez, that's pretty cold. I think we could get close to that. Although, no, I think ours is going to... No, it's going to be warmer. I think it's going to be warmer than that. I don't know. I guess I'm going to find out. Nah, but now that I think about it, it's definitely going to be warmer than that.
I think it's paradoxical to say that Trump's constitutional duty to take care of that the laws be faithfully executed allows him to violate criminal law. And she's right. It's the president's job to take care that the laws be faithfully executed. How can you say that the president should be doing that if they themselves are violating criminal law?
Right, because they technically shouldn't be allowed to do that. I think we topped out at -1. Jeez, that's cold. That's cold.
And you're excusing that criminal law. They should have full immunity from anything. I don't know. I had to find a way to shoehorn this in because I cannot just do a full video on Jesus Christ Trump over here. So it took me only a week to fall back into mental crisis mode covering this shit. I felt pretty good. Not gonna lie. I took a 2 days off during Christmas. Felt great to take 2 days off, and then felt like I had a new lease on life. Whole bunch of energy to cover this stuff, and then I saw this, and it was just all right. We're back at it. There has to be an entire shift by the Democratic Party to do something here. You have to, for once, listen to the working class. You have to listen to young people. Listen to activists. Listen to human rights experts. You have to move and be a party that actually tries to represent people. If you do not do that, if Joe Biden does not make the turn that he needs to make, then he is going to lose the election. And Donald Trump is going to be the forever president, as well as a part-time Jesus Christ.
A part-time Jesus Christ. Ali with the 11 biddies. Trump, Christ superstar Trump makes his own fish delight sandwiches from McDonald's. No, I don't think he's interested in that. All right, folks. I think we should just let Matt Walsh just kind of, because like I have no way of introducing this. Okay, I have no way of introducing this other than like Matt Walsh. Since you live 650 miles due south of me, I hope it will be warmer. Yeah, I believe so.
But of course, 97% of us are buying the Valentine's Day gift on the. But of course, 97% of us are buying the Valentine's Day gift on the way home from work on February 14th. But buying a Valentine's Day gift for your wife a month early is the gayest thing you could do.
True.
Don't do that.
So, like, obviously, this guy is being like a bigoted piece of garbage. Because he's using gay as a derogatory. He's saying it in a negative. He's saying gay equals bad because these people are that's how these people think. They haven't left their 15-year-old like yes, a pejorative. Thank you. Exactly, as a pejorative. And what he's saying essentially is like it's bad to be considerate. It's bad to like have attention and be thoughtful to your significant other. If that's so, like, count me in. Buying a gift for your wife who you are in a straight relationship with is gayer than two dudes effing Matt Walsh. Yeah, exactly. Gay equals responsible and caring, methinks. Yeah, so like I guess count me in, okay? I guess me thinking about my significant other and me thinking about my partner, I guess that makes me bad. Mama Saja, how's it going? That's like a 12-year-old schoolyard brain. Exactly. Can you show your partner that you love them? Not manly. Yeah, not manly. Not at all. Not manly at all.
If it's January 3rd and you tell your wife, I got you Valentine's Day gift already, she's going to say, so you're gay. Well, that kind of ruins Valentine's Day, doesn't it?
If that's your immediate response, again, he's not saying like gay as in like homosexual. He's just a bigoted piece of garbage. He's saying it's bad. And it's negative. If your wife feels, yeah, exactly. If your wife feels, that you being considerate is bad, then like, I don't know, man. Maybe like that's not the person for you. Okay. I mean, like, regardless, even a friend that you are, I don't know, like thinking about their birthday in a month in advance and they're like, pfft. If they give you that attitude, like, screw them. What? I would be incredibly angry. I would be incredibly angry if my wife would get weirded out or cross or scoff at the idea that somebody, especially her significant other, is putting in the effort in a month in advance to think about him. This is excuse for not getting a Valentine for his wife. I feel bad for his wife, okay? Because like, I'm sure that she might even be watching this. I'm pretty sure that she might even be watching this. Like, can you imagine being Matt Walsh's wife? and listening to your husband being like, yeah, if you think if you think being considerate to your wife and thinking about her a month in advance, what are you? You know, I listen to everybody. I think Matt Walsh gets it right about 70% of the time, or most stuff. Nah, he's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit. F this guy. He gets like almost like nothing right, okay? He's absolute garbage. Candace Owens didn't get much credit for challenging Ben on Israel. Probably not. I mean, back up what you can back up. Can you imagine being Matt Walsh's wife? Horrible. Yeah, and like I said, I'm sure that she at some point might even see these clips, right? Because obviously through Twitter and other social media, or just maybe just in general, she might come across this. And like, can you imagine just listening to your partner being like, yeah, dude, being considerate? Pfft. Unbelievable. Well, everything he said to this point, a 12-year-old boy could have said during recess and be just as wrong. Yep. And man is missionary with the lights off for sure. Family stuff he gets wrong a lot. No, he gets a lot of stuff wrong, period. Like, he's just, in general, like a really, really big piece of garbage. The Skype transphobia? Yeah, he doesn't know things. He doesn't know a thing about things, okay? Like, not only is he just wrong about a lot of stuff, he's just an absolute a-hole. He's just garbage. Matt Walsh gets it right 70% of the time. For those who think only about the surface, have zero introspection or social awareness. Not even. Like, he gets a lot of factual stuff just wrong. Or maybe I'm misreading it. I don't know. Whatever. That's not true. Hey, you never answered the question. So I'm going to ask it again. What do you think he did get right? Just give us an example. Pharma companies are in the pockets of hospitals. Okay, but why do you need Matt Walsh for that? I work for Big Pharma and they are pushing sex changes for profits. How is Big Pharma pushing for sex changes? Do you see how this isn't even making sense? How does Big Pharma push for sex changes? How does that make sense? Children are not able to consent. Come on, you're being disingenuous. You're being disingenuous. He did a video on it, Vanderbilt Hospital, who mentioned the profit margins. Oh, dude, well, if Matt Walsh said it, oh yeah, dude, if Matt Walsh said it, then it must be true. This guy isn't even a TERF. He's just a transphobe. I'm doing for as you please when you become an adult. Okay. That's kind of strange. Farm is sick and you have to understand how dirty they are. Okay, that's kind of weird. So how are kids being pushed to have sex reassignment surgery? You know that's not happening, right? You just made that up. I agree, medical care should not be for profit. We should have universal health care. True. But Matt Walsh doesn't believe in universal health care. So I don't understand. I don't understand how we're agreeing with Matt Walsh here. He doesn't, and neither does Shapiro. What are you talking about? He doesn't believe in Medicare for all or in a universal healthcare system, and neither does Shapiro, unless that's what you're talking about. So, what is there to agree with him here? All I'm saying is he got it right on making sure underage children are not getting a double mastectomy at 14 or 15. Oh, goddamn. Good thing that that's not happening, okay? What are you on about? And second of all, if you prevent mastectomies to be completely done away with, like, there are instances where it might even be necessary, regardless. Yeah, Matt Walsh standing up against things that never happened. Exactly. Good point. Why are you concerned about the boobs of minors? That's kind of weird. That sounds like just like a Matt Walsh thing. I don't listen to as much on everything else. Okay, but you said 70... You just said 70% of the stuff he says is correct. Oh, phenomenal thinking, dude. Man, I wish I had I wish I had your brains. Listen, man, there are communities who regret transitioning at a young age as a teen. Yeah, because where I go to get my to go where I want, you know, for information, you know where I go? Reddit. But he talks about hospitals a lot. 70% of his time, hospitals totally trust. I don't know what RVUs are, but hospitals are always making a profit because that's what they are designed to do, because this is a for-profit system, question mark? Again, you just said... oh my god. You just said, like... Matt Walsh is right about 70% of things, and now you said, I don't listen to him as much on everything else. Oh, man. The rate of detransition is below 5%, and the rate of regret for transition in general is less than that of knee surgery. What are you on about? Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, just making stuff up based on Matt Walsh, who's literally just, exactly, my source, I made it the F up. But also somehow he's correct on 70% of things, but now he's not correct on 70% of things. He's like, oh, this is, I just, agree with him on, like, some things. Your issues with the profit motive within healthcare, we agree. Beyond that, we are spouting transphobe talking points. Also, the overwhelming majority of detransitioners due to our social pressures, not because they want to do so much. Stop listening to Matt Walsh and think for yourself. Yeah, like, the number one thing you need to, like, everyone as in general needs to do is, like, never listen to Matt Walsh. They just explained to you how that's bullshit, okay? They literally just explained to you how that's bullshit, and you're still, like, circling back to the same bullshit point. So again, we concede that Matt Walsh actually isn't correct about 70% of the thing, and he is pretty disgusting on a lot of things, and he's pretty much not right about much of anything, is he? Cool. Glad we agree. Good talk. System currently investing billions. BlackRock, human rights. Okay, so again, I don't know. It sounds pretty conspiratorial. If your problem is the profit margins, well, I've got news for you. The entire healthcare system is a for-profit system. Okay, why aren't you crying about like the massive like extortion that they're doing to like diabetics, or the massive extortion that they're doing to cancer patients for like cancer drugs or whatever, the few that do exist. Like, it just sounds really weird that you're zoning in on this thing. If it is true that your problem is with the for-profit system, which, and then why not just say that, right? Why not just say the problem here is that we don't have a single-payer system, okay? All of this healthcare should just exist, okay? You make 0 sense. You make absolutely 0 sense. So, I guess that's probably as a result of listening to Matt Walsh. I would suggest not to, okay? Give me that BlackRock money. All right. Hey, let's talk about this domestic terrorist.
So you better pray to God, and I mean this literally, or whoever the fuck it is you pray to, okay? That Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, and Attorney General Barr clean this up lawfully. Because if for any reason the President of the United States feels that it's not getting done the way it should, and decides to put out the tweet that says, "My fellow Americans, my fellow 2A loving Americans, it's time to take up arms against these assholes," you are all fucked in under an hour. Under 1 hour, you're done. Every one of you. We're all just at home, hanging out.
So who's he referencing? Anybody who doesn't believe his ideology. Yeah.
Or we're on vacation like me right now, watching you idiots behave the way you do, waiting for that one tweet, that one emergency text message from the fucking President of the United States that gives us the green light to finish this.
I heard that as 2A loving Americans. I thought he was talking to bisexuals. No, he's talking to amosexuals.
Entire thing in under an hour. It will not be law enforcement. It will not be one of these slow.
Like, first of all, does he not think that, like, other people may not, because this country has, like, more guns than people, does it not dawn on him that, like, maybe some part of that population that supposedly he's gonna be able to take care of in under an hour, does he not think that, like, maybe some of those people may also have weapons too? May also not have may also have, may or may not have guns too? Let me stop you right there. Does he think that? Like, we can stop at, does he think? Yeah. And if so, do you think that, like, these people are just gonna be like, oh, this fascist just showed up into my door. Oh no, I can't do anything about it. Again, even, like, the people that don't have firearms, like, do you think that people are just gonna be like, oh no, the fascists are all, like, starting to, like, you know, gun people down, like, there's nothing we can do? Do you think that people are just gonna sit there? I don't know. I'd like to believe that that's not the case. They think all leftists are libs who hate guns.
Oh, bureaucratic justice system.
Is this talk even legal? I don't even know. Because, like, it's not an explicit, it's not like an outright explicit threat, but it's as close to it as, like, as you can get. Like, there's no, the thin veneer is like, it's like millimeters millimeters thin. Because, like, he's saying, like, oh, if they tell us, you know, if they give us the green light, if the dear leader says that we can go ahead and finally fulfill our murderous, you know, fantasy world, then we would do it. It might not be, but it's not like the law is going to stop him, because, like, who? The cops? True. Yeah, nanometers thin. Behind the hypothetical that they've, like, basically fantasized about since, like, 2016. Okay?
Wheels of justice turning. It'll be a group of people you didn't even know fucking existed because we were at our houses, we got off work, we were with our families, but we were ready for that call. And if that call ever does come, you will be fucked 7 ways from Sunday. So
yeah. Fun guy, huh? Sounds like a very good person. You know, the kind of person that would get personally invited to join President Trump. Yeah. In his little rally thing. Yeah. Nice guy, right? Immediately gets invited. With him and 20 guests to join Trump. Cool. Nice stuff, huh? Nice stuff. Very nice. He doesn't have 20 friends. I'm pretty sure he could find some 20 skinheads to go with him. Yeah, super duper hinged, not unhinged at all. A very normal person being personally, you know, invited by the Trump campaign or whatever. Whoever's organizing this on behalf of Trump. Very good. Very, 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 very good. Phenomenal stuff happening here. The current overwhelming frontrunner of the Republican Party is having this guy is having this guy. The Trump campaign. Gotcha. All right, last clip. Man, this is so infuriating.
Violence under.
Yeah, and our only hope is I'm not even listen, okay? We're just 2024 is gonna be a roller coaster, okay? 2024 is gonna be a roller coaster. The Batman. Okay. Oh man, I've managed to avoid hearing or seeing this woman for a month. I'm sorry, okay? Streak broken. I'm sorry, but like... yeah.
Violence under his watch. But I think...
I don't know who she is. You know what? It's probably better.
I'm going to say something that's going to upset a lot of people.
Yeah, so nobody that has opened up their segment with... I think that I'm going to say this even though it's going to be upset a bunch of people. That has never been a precursor to a good and normal statement, okay? The blessings of being from the country of foreign. Yeah, no, it's just don't, you know, it's okay. If you don't know who this is, no losses. Yeah. I'm not racist, but it's only covering the news. Don't blame ADT. True. Okay, don't blame me, okay? This came up on my timeline, and now we're here. Heat with the 100 biddies. Jesus. Thank you so much. That's very generous. Thank you.
But it's based in reality, so I'm going to say it anyway.
Yeah, so that's also another red flag. It's yeah, see, this is going to piss people off, but it's based in reality. Yeah, you know, that's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be a good one. Whose reality?
What happened on January 6th was wrong, and that was absolutely political violence. It was political violence that he appeared to sanction in his rally speech.
He did. He didn't appear to. He didn't appear to. He did. So, right off the bat, I think we all know where this is going. Right off the bat, we're already on a good start, huh? We're already to a phenomenal start.
Prior to the violence breaking out. So I think that put in the minds of those rioters,
insurrectionists,
that, hey, it's the president of the United States telling us that we should do this, and so we have his protection.
Yeah, and like that's the end of that analysis, because that's literally what they've said, okay?
We have his permission, and they did what they did.
Right, stop. That's the analysis. End. Cut, okay? That's the analysis. Do you know why? Because that's what they said themselves, okay? It's not deeper than that. We'll see the silly little sellout. Something. You could say that. The analysis of what? The January 6th incident. That's what she's talking about.
I also want to remind everyone what the overall climate in the country was.
No, stop. Okay, like what are you talking about? What context else is needed? Okay? What context else is needed? The president, the former president, called for people to show up and be wild on January 6th. And that's what they did. There's no other context needed other than like all these far right groups, including like Nick Fuentes, organized to show up at the Capitol because they were under the delusion that the election was stolen, because that was the delusion put forward by Donald Trump. That's the context of this, okay? That's the climate that we're talking about. That's the context. There's nothing else to it. What climate? More oil.
Because while I was definitely supportive of people getting together and protesting, police violence and all of that, unfortunately, once it was dark in many cities, there was a lot of rioting taking place, and there were a lot of denials about the rioting taking place. And I think that also got into the heads of a lot of those January 6th riots.
Oh, dude, true. You know what? The January 6th people, definitely what they were thinking about was like the BLM riots. True.
Well, I guess riots are okay. There are no consequences for them, so.
That's not true either. Okay? That's not true either. A lot of people were arrested. And like the Simon Locker just pointed out, a lot of these were pushed by the police. I know the one that I went to. Actually, yeah, the one that I went to. It was definitely started by the police. Oh God, she's gonna blame January 6th on black people. I forgot what an absolute piece of garbage, shit. I guess shitlib. She is. There was a violence because the police made the protest violent. So ones that were the ones that you went to was the ones with the Antifa super soldiers, right? Yeah, that's the one that I went to. Actually, I backtrack on that. Every single BLM protest was just full with Antifa super soldiers, all of them.
Oh, let's do our thing. I think they felt that they.
Soros still owes me a couple of checks. Hey, I was there, okay, and I didn't get jack. Okay.
They were totally okay in carrying out the violence that they did. And I do think that it was because of Trump, yes, but also just the over.
Yeah, true. So Trump supporters, according to this this idiot's mindset. So Trump supporters, the argument is that Trump supporters Trump supporters basically thought in their heads, Trump supporters thought, yes, BLM people did riots, so it's okay. That's literally not what they were thinking about. You can argue that this is what Fox News told them, but if you do, you should explain that that is not actually true. Yeah, of course, he's basically trying to make the argument that somehow this is comparable. This is comparable and excuses the January 6th insurrection. This is not comparable. This is not comparable. They can't help but constantly punch left, though. Yep. CNN is my guess. Maybe one day she'll end up being interviewed by Tucker Carlson or some shit. Especially after a comment like that. Anna's trying to get a job on Fox. So Anna Kasparian is basically trying to blame, or trying to shoulder some of the blame to the January 6th insurrection because BLM? Yeah. So not even comparable. And the fact that she even said that is wild. Does Fox still have money after that lawsuit thing? I have no idea. I'm disappointed in her even though I never liked her.
Violence under his watch.
Well, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. Trying to be appealing to, I don't know. I don't know. Like the right wing, I guess? Because like the only people that would read this argument and be like, yes, this makes sense is the right soccer moms. Not even because like even most of the more even the most of the like progressive kind of lib people, they don't agree with like what happened in January 6th. So she's not even trying to do like the soccer moms or the wine moms. I just don't know. She's gonna pull a Reuben. That's probably more likely. Probably those guys that got told, name a single woman that feels comfortable around you. This is the kind of stuff she and Cenk used to roast others for. Yeah. Soccer moms are either resistance libs or Trumpers. I mean, like, I guess the use of the resistance libs is that they won't vote Republican, at least. But I don't think this appeals to either of them. Oh, well, except maybe for the Trump soccer moms. Where are the commie soccer moms? Not here, I can tell you that much. Oh, we have one in chat. I was done with Cenk over the union stuff and the way he treated Hassan. Sharpie Diesel. There you go. Ate my words right there. I have to go. Peace and love to y'all. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate that. "62% of Americans are still living paycheck to paycheck." Yeah, that's right. And this wasn't too long ago. This was towards the end of October of 2023. This is a couple months ago. Okay. Yeah, this is a very normal and very healthy economy. Still making it the main financial lifestyle, our report finds. This is very normal, very good, you know. Capitalism is doing fine. Everything is fine. The number of Americans who say they are stretching too thin show no signs of improvement amid the high prices and high interest rates. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell recently said that inflation is still too high, indicating that interest rates will stay higher for longer. One bright spot, some online savings account rates are now paying more than 5%, which is the most savers have been able to earn in nearly 2 decades. Yay? Question mark? I'm sure that lots of people are going to look at that and go, yes! High inflation and higher interest continue to weigh on American households as of September, which again is not that long ago. 62% of adults say they're living paycheck to paycheck. According to a new Lending Club report, the figure is unchanged from last year. Living paycheck to paycheck remains the main financial lifestyle among U.S. Consumers. Phenomenal stuff. You know, when I talk about a healthy economy, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah, what is savings? They're literally living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. A job? What do you think I am? Some kind of loser? Oh, great. I get 5% on my savings account. That'll almost make up for the fact that bread's over $5 a loaf. True. The Federal Reserve is expected to announce it will leave rates unchanged at the end of its 2-day meeting this week, even though the Fed chair said recently that inflation is too high. Anonymously, my bank closed my savings account because I couldn't keep any money in it. I was shocked today. I got like $100 in interest. I thought interest was F all. Jeez. Recent data is painting a mixed picture of where the economy stands. Inflation has shown some signs of cooling, but core personal consumption expenditure price index, which the Fed uses as a key measure, increased 0.3% in September. The consumer price index, another closely followed inflation gauge, also rose at a slightly faster than expected pace over the month, boosted by higher prices for food, gas, and shelter. As a result, real average hourly earnings fell. The consensus among economists and central bankers is that the interest rate will now stay higher for longer. Awesome stuff. Many households are seeing their finances stretched thin by the combination of high prices for goods and services as well as high interest rates, said Brett House, economics professor at the Columbia Business School. Many are having to make tough choices to defer discretionary spending in order to stay on top of their loan payments and cost of necessities. The resumption of student loan payments only add to the stress. Hey! I wonder who promised to fix that. The resumption of student loan payments only add to this issue. Add to the stress. Damn. I wonder who could have... Oh, man, it's just at the tip of my tongue. I wonder who ran an entire presidential election as promising something to that effect. Yeah, some old guy. Yeah, I think some old guy named Brandon. Named Joe Brandon was supposed to fix this. Plus, MAGA and MAGA pundits ignore COVID and Trump's crisis recession in April of 2020. Where's my $600, Brandon? Where's the money, Brando? Some 74% of Americans say they're stressed about finances, according to a separate CNBC Your Money financial confidence survey conducted in August. Inflation, rising interest rates, and a lack of savings contribute to those feelings. That CNBC survey found that 61% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, up from 58% in March. Jesus. Like, even if 58% are living paycheck to paycheck, that's not a good system. That means more than half of your population, your working working population, is literally living paycheck to paycheck. That's wild. You would not call that a success, okay? To say that like capitalism is doing great while like more than half of your people, your working class, is living literally paycheck to paycheck, that's not a success. And now we're talking, what, 61% are living paycheck to paycheck? It would be nice if someone would have raised the minimum wage, but I guess the Senate parliamentarian was just too tough of an obstacle. Shame. It's a shame, you know. If only there was like a huge effort to put, if there's only a huge effort to put Democrats in charge of the House and Senate and president. If only there was a Herculean effort to win against pretty high odds. Was Left Flank Vet suspended? Apparently, he got a 24-hour suspension for copyright for streaming that debate. Wow, dang. You see, that's why, like, I don't know. I mean, I think that, like, if it's an important enough, like, presidential debate, not these, like, primary ones, but, like, I don't know, if I had the wherewithal, the intent of covering any of these debates, honestly, I would just take it to Discord, okay? I would just take it to Discord. Like, don't risk the channel. Especially, like, you know, Left Flank Vets has enough an audience to maybe they can get a big big enough group to watch it on Discord or something. I don't know. That would be my opinion. Because it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's already like it's just not worth it. It sucks that CNN could just torpedo your stream because you're just covering something that like should be free for everyone to cover anyways, but it is what it is. CNN doesn't want to stream on Twitch, yeah, which is nonsense. It's such BS. It's such BS. USA A-hole also caught a ban last night. Wow. For the same thing. Discord streaming is kind of ass. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Granted, I've only done it like a couple times. It didn't turn out to be too bad, and I didn't have to do much, to be fair, so I don't know. If you want to do like maybe a whole ass stream, it might be different, but I don't know. I feel like if you just put on your browser and your microphone and that's it, you might just be able to be okay. That's unfortunate. It's fine for hanging out with the girls, I guess. Yeah, but you can stream like a web browser. I'm sure that'd be fine. Jendrick Bender, welcome. Anywho. Nearly half of 49% of adults have less savings or no savings compared to a year ago. Phenomenal. We're doing great, guys. On the upside, those with the remaining balances, which are concentrated among high-income households, are seeing better interest payments than they've ever received at any time in the past. High-yielding saving accounts, which, yeah, cool story, bro. The problem is, as we just read, half of the people don't have savings. How much Starbucks are they buying? True. How much avocado toast, okay? That's the real question. We need to make a survey of every adult and see how much of that 49% is eating avocado toast, okay? Because that's really the problem. Yeah, just spent less on candles. toast in this economy. Emma, Majority Report didn't get caught, but they had a scroll on the screen. That's funny. I wasn't feeling too well yesterday. That's the reason why I didn't stream yesterday. I didn't feel too well, so I couldn't really be there. I think I saw the notification for the Majority Report, but I just couldn't. I was there today, but I just couldn't. Yesterday, I was feeling really bad. I don't know, the the allergies really got to me. DeSantisLie.com. Is that a real thing? I saw it. DeSantisLie.com. Well, it's not even showing up for me. But it's not showing up for me. Do I have the... It goes to Majority Report's own website. The link is broken! Someone needs to tell Sam. I remember him talking about this. I think he put it up on the screen. But the link is broken. Anywho, the upside, those remaining balances, which are concentrated among high-income households, are seeing better interest payments than they've ever... Yay! You know, just what the working class likes to hear. High-yielding saving account, certificate of deposit, and money market accounts are now paying more than 5% according to Bankrate, which is the most savers have been able to earn. Ah, yes, thank goodness that the wealthy people are making more money. You know, that's the real silver lining in this article. You know what I mean? It was a high yield savings account. Literally rich people. That's a silver lining we need to grasp from this article. You know what? Even though more than half of the working population is literally living paycheck to paycheck, about half of adults don't even have savings or very little. What was this statistic? Like a good chunk of people can't even afford a $500 emergency or $600 emergency. So yeah, no, things are going great because, you know, people with high yield savings accounts and CDs and money market accounts, which generally are rich people, are now getting a percentage more in interest payments or whatnot, yield payments or whatever. Cool. That's good. You know, that's the real thing we need to take from this. Time to go. I gotta do stuff. No problem. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate that. And please, sir, can I have some more high interest savings? All right. So piggybacking off that, and of course, you know, gotta talk about capitalism's greatest hits, right? Child labor. Florida bill weakening child labor law gets okay from Republican-dominated House panel. Despite opposition from the Democratic minority, a Florida bill that would weaken child labor protections for 16 and 17-year-olds advances to its second Republican-dominated House subcommittee hearing on Tuesday in a 12-5 vote along party lines. HB 49 similarly passed its first panel along party lines, which Republicans in support, Democrats opposed. The bill's sponsor, Linda Cheney, a Republican member of the Florida House, has defended the bill in part by arguing that the bill is not about children, except it is. This bill is about teenagers. Oh, I'm sorry. Not children, teenagers who are also children, she emphasized on Wednesday in front of the House Local Administration, Federal Affairs, and Special Distribution Subcommittee. Last month, she favored the term youth workers. These are youth workers that are driving automobiles. They are not children. Got it. These are also the same. Like, okay, if that's the case, so these aren't children, right? They clearly have the ability to make decisions for themselves. Hey, why are they interested in banning, for example, gender-affirming care? So in that case, they are children who can't make decisions. But now they are not children. They're youth workers who are driving cars, so they're not children. Also, 14-year-olds? I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh, I'm sorry, 16 and 17. I'm sorry. Drafted by a right-wing think tank would extend the number of hours that a 16 and 17-year-old in Florida would be allowed to work during school year and get rid of breaks on the jobs specific to minors that employers are required to give them under law. Similar to another bill introduced in Indiana, it would allow teenagers age 16 and older to drop out of school and work during school hours. Currently, minors in Florida cannot work more than 30 hours per week while school is in session, and they must be given 30-minute breaks every 4 hours. There are stricter requirements under federal law for children under 16, which... What? Why is that even a thing? A previous version of HB 49 would allow older teens to work overnight shifts even if they had scheduled school next day. Phenomenal. Republican... This is another way they attack education, too, by the way. This is another way they attack education. Republican State Representative Linda Cheney, the sponsor of the bill, amended the bill to walk that back, admitting the change was made into response to public feedback. But if they don't give a F about our kids, they would never allow this shit to happen to their own. Yeah, no, they never cared about kids, okay? None of this was ever like the idea that these people gave a shit about kids. Is just not true. It's ludicrous. These people do not care about children, any more than any. They don't give a shit. That much is true. That much is clear. Clear. Florida banned the elementary dictionary. Really? It just ties back into the attack on education. They don't need our kids to know how much more than to sit there and take orders. Yeah, exactly. This is an attack on education, by the way. No doubt about it. This is an attack on education. The less people needed, the less people that are in school, the better. However, the new amended version also adds a carve-out that would allow 16 and 17-year-olds to drop out of school and work full-time. Currently, state law exempts minors who already graduated from high school or those who have obtained a high school diploma. The amended proposal from Cheney would extend that to homeschooled students in approved virtual school programs, and students 16 and older who have filed declaration of intent with their school district to drop out of the school. Representative Brackett also filed an amendment to fix a typo in Cheney's amendment. That amendment was similarly adopted. If they all quit at 8th grade to work, we won't have to worry about funding education. Yep. According to the Economic Policy Institute, Florida's the 16 states so far where legislation has been proposed over the past 2 years to ease child labor restrictions, even though violations of child labor law have been on the rise. Critics of the bill argued that child labor protections under current law are in place to prevent minors from exploitation or burnout in order to prioritize their education, which obviously, that's the point. They don't want children to be educated, and certainly they're not really. They don't really care if they're being exploited, in the service of capitalism. They don't care. That's just part of life. They also point out that teens aged 14 and older in Florida are already able to lawfully be employed in a wide variety of jobs for up to 30 hours a week during school year. There are prohibitions on jobs deemed too dangerous for minors, such as demolition work, meatpacking, and roofing, although another controversial bill written by a homebuilder and construction industry lobbyist seeks to change that too. As it is, not all minors in Florida even protected. Hey, come back. Jeez, this website. Okay. Oh my goodness, I can't click on any of the... Can I click here? Thank you. Not all minors in Florida are even protected under the child labor law, which were first established over a century ago through advocacy of labor advocates and social workers. Children who are enrolled in career education programs in schools, minors employed by their parents or in homes, like babysitting, minors in the entertainment industry, and minors who have been married are all exempted. Okay. Children can also seek exemption by applying for a waiver. A representative from the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation, the enforcing agency, told the Orlando Weekly in December that over 5,000 waivers were issued for children during 2023 fiscal year alone. Yeah, that's not good. No, that's not good. A teacher from Palm Beach, worried about the implications of the bill on children's education, grew emotional in front of lawmakers. Speaking as an opponent of the bill, I see kids falling asleep with the laws we have now. This is so emotional for me because I see this every day and I think it's going to get much worse. Jessica Mary, another teacher from Palm Beach County, said teenagers are already overstressed and overscheduled as it is. Our children are facing stress like no other generation has today. Kids are already overscheduled with extracurricular and family obligations and are struggling to juggle the expectations that are being placed upon them in today's society. The Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association, a lobbying group for the hospitality industry, was one of the earliest vocal supporters of the bill, of course, and is in business-friendly company with right-wing think tanks like Americans for Prosperity and the Foundation for Government Accountability, which has been a driving force for child labor rollbacks across the country. They're lobbying for this bill, too. FRLA lobbyist Samantha Paget told lawmakers their group has gotten overwhelmingly positive feedback from its members, ranging from large businesses to small family-owned businesses in our community. A powerful trade group led by a board of directors dominated by industry giants argues that Florida child labor laws limit youth workers, children, meaningful involvement in hospitality jobs, with many businesses reluctant to hire and mentor them due to stringent requirements. The audacity. The audacity. Paget said the hospitality and tourism industry are also dealing with a labor shortage. The classic, the labor shortage. Man, that's bullshit. Her group's member, like, you just want cheap labor that has the least probability of being able to recognize that they're being exploited. That's what this is about. Our group members added, would welcome the opportunity to expand hours of hardworking young Floridians who are strong members of their team. Or you could hire people at a decent wage. You could solve that labor shortage by hiring people at good wages. Start there. Children, of course, are also cheaper to hire, of course, with employees legally permitted to pay minors as little as $4.25 an hour for first 90 days under law. If teens are desperate enough to want to work for more than 30 hours per week, they're also probably desperate enough to put up with a job even if their boss fails to pay overtime or fails to pay them all of what they're lawfully owed. As we've reported extensively, Florida doesn't have a strong mechanism to crack down on wage theft. Well, yeah, Florida and everywhere has very, just in general, we have very crappy recourse when it comes to wage theft. State Representative Mary Woodson pointed out that the bill also wouldn't protect older teens from being fired if they refuse to take on extra hours that would be legalized under this bill. Cheney rebuffed this by claiming employers won't want to work teens so many hours anyways. Oh, yeah, dude. No, the employers, notably known for being noble and very conscious of people's lives, they won't want to work teams too many hours anyways. Employers are not going to want to play overtime. You're right. They don't. They just force you to stay at a job and work for free and not pay you the overtime. What a kindergarten like approach, right? Do you think like this happens all the time? Do you think that employers are like, oh yeah, hey, can you stay for like an hour just to help real quick, and then like you never end up getting that overtime pay? Yeah. Of course businesses don't want to pay overtime. They want it for free. They want the overtime work without the overtime pay. That doesn't make business sense. No, it doesn't. That's why they steal it. She might be right. The owners of a couple of North Florida restaurants, after all, were recently penalized by the federal government because they failed to comply with existing child labor law and overtime requirements. These type of violations are all too common in the restaurant industry, said Waldorf de Jesus, a regional administration of the U.S. Department of Labor's Wage and Hour Division. An Orlando area roofing contractor who illegally employed a 15-year-old to do roofing work in 2022 similarly violated overtime requirements in addition to child labor protection. The 15-year-old fell off a 20-foot roof on the job, suffering injuries that landed the teenager in hospital for days. Jesus Christ. The contractor was fined over $50,000 in child labor penalties. Like, and does that also mean like would they be liable for his like medical costs? Cause geez, too many children still fall through the cracks in enforcement, often illegally employed in industries like construction, service, and hospitality. If you look at who's supporting these efforts to weaken child labor laws across the country, it's the same companies who are often leaders in wage theft problems. Yeah, makes sense. Makes absolute sense. So David Wild, the former head of Wage and Hour Division under the Obama administration, told Orlando Weekly last month they're trying to find the least cost way of expanding their labor supply. And enforcement of Florida's child labor is already weak. A recent poll conducted by Mason-Dixon polling strategy found that loosening child labor protections for older teens is unpopular among Florida voters, even among registered Republicans. Cheney argued that her bill is only seeking to align state law with the federal fair labor standards of 1938. Stop it. Okay. Which is somewhat weaker than the state's. Federal law does not have restrictions on the number of hours 16 to 17-year-olds can work. For instance, Florida is one of over 20 states that did step up over the last century. Like blaming that the fact that the federal government that your argument is, oh well, the federal government has weaker restrictions. Okay, that's not good. That means then the federal government should have stricter restrictions. That doesn't mean that you have to ease out the ones that you already have, which protects children. To enact child protections that are stronger in what's in the federal law. Representative Robin Bartleman said lawmakers should be proud of that rather than trying to dismantle it. I'm proud to be in a state that has child labor laws that are more restrictive because we value our children. We do not want them exploited. Right. That makes way more sense than being like, oh, well, the federal government's laws are less strict, so... Cheney said she doesn't know anyone who's protested federal child labor regulations for being less restrictive than those enacted by many states. You may not be aware of it, though frankly she seems unlikely, That doesn't mean the opposition doesn't exist. There are, in fact, currently bipartisan proposals in Congress to strengthen federal law, which has been criticized as outdated and insufficient to deter violations. Florida Republican Jeff Holcomb, however, said similarly wasn't convinced. I think we're wrapping our kids in a bubble wrap here. He blustered on like Cheney, who didn't seem to have a problem with acknowledging that these are children we're talking about. Yeah, way to let the cat out of the bag, huh? A number of organizations range from Florida PTA to the 1199 SEIU Labor Union, Florida Student Power, and Florida Education Association, the statewide teachers union, all spoke or waved in opposition to the bill. The National Federal of Independent Business waved in support. With this latest vote of approval from the House panel, the bill will now head to its last committee stop. It would need to be approved by one more committee plus the full House in order to pass. And these are the people that voted, if you're in Florida, for the child labor bill. Jenna Parsons Malika from Fort Myers. Roberts Brackets from Vero Beach. Carolina Amnesty from Orlando. Adam Anderson from Palm Harbor. David Borrero from Sweetwater. Philip Waynes Griffiths Jr. from Panama City Beach. Jeff Holcomb from Spring Hill. Bernie Jackas from Seminole. Kaylee Tuck from Lake Placid, Michael Yarkovsky from Monteverde, Rachel Placken from Lake Mary, Stan McLean from Ocala. Yeah. Protect the kids, huh? We're going to go over this one really quickly. Marjorie Taylor Greene threatened to vacate the chair against Speaker Mike Johnson. Close this. Marjorie Taylor Greene was back on Stephen Bannon's War Room podcast on Thursday today after a hiatus from for supporting Kevin McCarthy. Greene was there to attack the new GOP Speaker. Mike Johnson was attempting to fund the government. Greene threatened to vacate the chair against Johnson if she doesn't get her way in the appropriation bill. Quote, right now Mike Johnson's getting rolled in meeting after meeting after meeting when he isn't talking to Jake Sullivan and Chuck Schumer every day and impressed with these four-corner meetings, but he's not talking to me and other important members of the Republican conference at all about any negotiations and any plans any of the plans and exactly what we want to see done. He's failing on the job. So she's basically threatening to she's putting it out there that she may be open to the idea of filing the motion to vacate, causing another clown show. And also she makes note that she acknowledges that, or at least she thinks, at least she feels that she is a very important member in terms of the Republican conference. So again, this is the Republican Party, right? There's no if, and, or buts about it. Greene then blasted Johnson for making a deal on Ukraine, border security, and threatening to vacate the chair against Johnson. Every day Mike Johnson gets closer and closer to this deal, brings me closer and closer to vacating the chair because I have absolutely had it. Greene is upset that Johnson is holding meetings with her like Kevin McCarthy did. On Wednesday, Greene blocked the rule to allow House business to proceed. It would be ironic if Greene used a single-member motion to vacate that was secured by Gates and her Freedom Caucus colleges after not supporting it. Greene also complained that I get the occasional text message and that's not going to work. McCarthy invited Greene to meetings and wooed the MAGA Republican lawmaker, just Republican, winning over her loyalty, much to the disdain of the other Republicans. Bannon even called for Greene to be primaried for going along with McCarthy's agenda. Now she's back on the show to attack the new speaker. Greene is now back and advocating for a government shutdown if the House Republicans can't pass all the appropriation bill. Greene appears to have learned her lesson. To earn respect from the Republicans like Steve Bannon, Greene must attack the Republican leadership even as they attempt to make the most out of the limited power that they have. Yeah, this is absurd. If she does this because obviously nothing's gonna get done if you can't make deals, okay? And she's gonna threaten to do another, to invoke another motion to vacate. Yeah, this could get really dicey for the Republicans, of course. I mean, if she wants to set up another clown show, then by all means, go for it, okay? Judge in Trump's civil fraud trial faces bomb threat. Yep. The other judge is now being threatened too. Authorities came to the home of Justice Arthur Engoron on the day he was set to hear closing arguments in the New York suit against Trump. The former president had attacked him on social media. I mean, like, how is this guy not in jail? That's the big question here. Nassau County authorities on Thursday responded to a bomb threat at the house of the judge presiding over the civil fraud trial of Trump. A spokesperson for the Nassau County Police Department confirmed that there was an investigation at the house of the judge, Arthur Engoron, who in several hours expected to hear closing arguments in the Trump case. The two people with knowledge of the matter said the threat involved a bomb and the bomb squad came to the house. It was unclear whether the threat would delay the proceedings. The threat came the morning after Trump again attacked the judge, Justice Engoron, on Truth Social, his social media site, saying that the judge and the New York Attorney General who brought the fraud case were trying to screw me, and it came just after days after police in Washington were called to the home of the federal judge overseeing his election interference case. I mean, like, you know, at what point, like, do people start taking this guy seriously and just locking him up? Because this is stochastic terrorism. The dude's encouraging all this, okay? This is not by coincidence. This is not by accident, okay? He's encouraging this shit. Even if he's not saying directly, go, you know, bomb or go threaten to bomb, whatever. He's not doing this directly. But it's very clear that the people that are doing this, these domestic terrorists, they are doing this at, or feel like they're doing it on his behalf, because they perceive that the dear leader is undergoing like an unfair witch hunt, as he calls it. Not a cult, by the way. And it came just days after police in Washington were called to the home of the federal judge overseeing Mr. Trump's election interference case. Mr. Trump originally planned to speak in his own defense at the closing arguments on Thursday today, but Justice Engoron said he would have to abide by the rules that apply to lawyers giving closing arguments and refrain from delivering a campaign speech. A lawyer for Mr. Trump, Christopher Keith, said that the conditions were untenable, and after unsuccessfully requesting a delay because of his mother-in-law's death, Mr. Trump appeared to back down from speaking. Yeah. One thing is clear. This is domestic terrorism, and if I had to take a guess, and if I had to put money on it, it's people that are doing it for Trump. Okay. Breaking: First Lady Dr. Biden unleashes on Donald Trump and the Republicans in rare fiery remark over the continued targeting of their son Hunter. Usually, Dr. Jill stays out of political fray, but a mother can only be stand by so long when her child is attacked. I mean, he's a grown ass man, but okay. Republicans have been ceaselessly attacking Hunter because they don't have real issues to attack President Biden on. Hunter is not involved. Yeah, like, so we know it's a circus, okay? It's a circus. There, in my opinion, like, they shouldn't even pay attention to any of this. These dishonest, like, because again, there are a lot of things that you can attack Biden on, okay? There's a laundry list of things that you can attack Biden on, but this Hunter Biden stuff isn't it. Breaking Attorney General, New York Attorney Letitia James drops the hammer on Trump after closing arguments in a massive $370 million civil lawsuit that she's brought against him. It's clear that James smells victory in the air, and Trump is sweating bullets after finishing the closing remarks and weathering another deranged courtroom meltdown. James emerged and addressed the cameras. This is our last day in our case against Trump. Yeah, I believe, well, I mean, I imagine that's going to be resolved soon. All right. I think we did it, folks. Folks, if you enjoy the content and want to help the channel, please make sure you hit the follow button if you haven't done so. As Michael Haxter just put there, please feel free to also subscribe to the YouTube, like the stream, do all that awesome stuff. Spread the word far and wide. We're here Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We do the news, we do the politics. Bring a friend. Also, join the Discord, okay? If you want to keep up with the channel and you just want to hang out in a very chill place, go join the Discord. We also have monthly movie events on the last Saturday of every month. We'll have a movie. I'll start posting about what we're gonna watch soon. It's already almost, geez, the time flies. It's already almost the middle of the month. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna post like some options that you can poll on. You could go vote. There is a system of voting in the Discord, so we'll try to select a movie based on what you guys want to see. Again, check out, if you need stuff, check out the merch. It's pretty cool. Join the Discord, do the social media stuff. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. Thank you for the biddies. Thank you for any follows, biddies, subscriptions. You guys are what makes this channel grow. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Thank you, Michael Hasser. Thank you, Heat, for modding the chat. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one Monday. See ya. Oh man, I'm so out of it. I even forgot the outro song. That's how tired I am, and that's how beat up I am from yesterday. Sheesh. Hang with me, folks. We are singing it. For a brief moment, I used to play for this band. Alright, I found it, folks. Hey, come back. Alright, hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.